We leave our homes and rush off to run our errands without a second thought. We might go on foot, or we might take a car or a bicycle. To us, the ground we are walking on seems unshakable and solid. But is it really? The ground beneath our feet could collapse at any moment or even explode. Hello everyone! Welcome to this channel. Fortunately, this happens rarely, and for most of us, it's not an event we're associated with. But these phenomena are interesting, aren't they? So today we are going to talk about infrequent and dangerous natural phenomena. Landslides causing sinkholes. Let us begin with sinkholes, which can appear suddenly on the ground. The likelihood of sinkholes appearing is extremely high in areas where karstic limestone caves or other cavities exist underground. Soil overlying these cavities or entire reservoirs can suddenly slide down a sinkhole. It is still a good thing that these sinkholes occur in uninhabited areas. There are more than 100 such sinkholes in the world, some as deep as 600 meters. Sinkholes are not always traces of the distant past. In the last 15 years alone, 10 giant sinkholes have appeared around the world. 2 sinkholes that appeared in the center of Guatemala City are among them. One of these holes was 100 meters deep, and the other was 90 meters deep. During the first sinkhole, a 3-story factory slid beneath the ground, and during the second sinkhole, an intersection collapsed. Experts believe that the sinkholes in Guatemala were caused by leaking sewage pipes, in addition to other factors due to natural phenomena. In 2022, sinkholes of 200 meters deep and more than 25 meters in diameter appeared in a copper mine in Chile. 6 statues of Christ the Redeemer in Corcovado, Rio de Janeiro, would fit this huge sinkhole. Can you imagine? Permafrost explosion. Holes on the ground come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Some huge holes, about 50 meters deep, were recently discovered in Siberia. The cause of the holes is not a landslide, but the opposite. It has to do with the explosion of methane gas underground. This phenomenon is new and in many respects unexplained, but it is said to be related to global warming. This means that global warming has created a pockmarked cavity in the unfrozen part of the Earth's crust, so to speak, and this pockmark swelled up under gas pressure and finally exploded, scattering clumps of dirt, ice, and fire columns for hundreds of meters. We do not fully understand how this happened and where the methane gas came from. Some believe that microorganisms living deep underground are producing the methane gas. Researchers are just beginning to unravel this problem. Hail and ice storms. It is pleasant to be hit by a light rain in the hot summer, but winter can be tough. When warm and cold fronts collide, snow sometimes enters the warm layer of air, melts, and fails to crystallize after exiting it. In such cases, the droplets, supercooled below 0 degrees Celsius, fall to the ground in liquid form and freeze as a layer of ice after landing on the ground. If this layer of ice is thicker than 6.5 millimeters, meteorologists record it as an ice storm or silver storm. Although this phenomenon is beautiful, it is also very dangerous and can cause damage to large trees. Hailstorms, on the other hand, are deadly and frightening natural phenomena. Hail with a diameter of nearly 20 centimeters can wipe out crops and puncture the roofs of cars and houses. Imagine that for a moment. The heaviest hailstones in the world weighed over a kilogram. What kind of havoc would be wrought if such hailstones fell to the ground at great speed. Mudslide. Have you ever seen a torrent of water between mountains sweep away everything in its path? It is a sight that is both majestic and somewhat frightening at the same time. But there is something even scarier. A mudslide is a stream of stones, sediment, and water that flows down the riverbed at a furious pace. This is a dangerous natural phenomenon and can occur after a sudden thaw or heavy rainfall. It also often occurs for other reasons. One particularly dangerous type of mudslide is lahar, which is volcanic in origin. The mixture of lava, water, stones, and sediment can travel nearly 300 kilometers at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour. In 1985, a lahar destroyed the town of Almelo, Colombia, with a population of 30,000. Also in 1991, another lahar caused the US to lose 2 bases in the Philippines. Avalanches. Avalanches also flow down steep mountains at a rapid rate, pushing aside obstacles at speeds of nearly 30 meters per second. Avalanche is a common problem in mountainous areas around the world and often causes damage. Did you know that avalanches can be triggered not only by natural causes, but also by gunshots and downhill skiing? If you didn't know, please press the like button on this video. By the way, it's not only avalanches that are scary. The air waves that occur before an avalanche are especially dangerous and often blow down before the avalanche. Submarine Landslide. You can imagine what would happen if a mountain slope suddenly collapsed. Thinking of landslides on the ground, we would think of destroyed roads, towns, and landscapes that have been changed beyond recognition. What would happen if a landslide occurred on the seafloor? Landslides do occur on the seafloor and often on a large scale. Rock deposits can move rapidly or slowly across the seafloor. Seafloor landslides can occur even on slopes that are not steep and have an angle of 1 degree. Even if the landslide appears to the human eye to be no different to level ground, a landslide occurring on a slight slope can slowly have an impact and change the landforms of the seafloor. Landslides can sever submarine cables, destroy pipelines, and damage submarine platforms. What is truly frightening about submarine landslides is that they can trigger tsunamis. If geological changes proceed rapidly, everything that lives along the coast will encounter a massive wall of water. Actually, such an event occurred 8,000 years ago along what is now the Norwegian coast. The Storegga submarine landslide submerged tens of meters of land around the North Sea. A very recent catastrophic chain of events occurred in Papua New Guinea in 1998. A huge earthquake was followed by an undersea landslide, which in turn triggered a tsunami that swept along the coast. The victims numbered in the thousands, villages were destroyed, and houses were pulled off their foundations and washed away tens of kilometers. The invisible undersea landslide caused this kind of damage. Lake explosion. If you shake a bottle of carbonated beverage violently and suddenly open the lid, you probably know what would happen, right? The bubbles would pour out with great force and the area would be flooded. Now imagine the same thing happened in a large lake. That is a lake explosion. In a lake explosion, carbon dioxide gas is released so vigorously that it rises from the surface of the lake in a cloud-like form. What shakes the lake are various other disasters, such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions at the bottom of the lake, and large landslides that occur under or near the surface of the water. Lake explosions can also trigger tsunamis, and the waves of released carbon dioxide can smother all living things within a few dozen kilometers of the lake. Such an event actually occurred in Cameroon in the 1980s. Lake Manaun and Lake Neo's lake explosions have affected thousands of people. Mazuku, the evil wind. When you look at a tree, what else do you see besides the tree? Maybe you see leaves and branches shaking. That is, you are looking at the wind. What is the wind made of? Of course, it is made of air. You learned in school that 21% of air is oxygen and 78% is nitrogen. You know it, but you can't see it, and that's the scary thing about Mazuku. Mazuku is a Swahili word meaning evil wind of carbon dioxide. For example, if you look at the flame of this candle here, you can see how carbon dioxide works. Without oxygen, the flame will go out. Carbon dioxide, an asphyxiating gas, also affects living things, depriving them of the oxygen they need to breathe. Because carbon dioxide is heavier than air, the wave of carbon gas spreads near the ground and concentrates in the depressed areas of the terrain. This is Mazuku, which occurs after a volcanic eruption or lake explosion. Mazuku has the ability to suffocate plants, animals, and humans. The dog caves near Naples have a constant influx of volcanic carbon dioxide, a phenomenon similar to Mazuku. Until just 150 years ago, dogs were sometimes released into the caves to entertain tourists, and dogs that entered the mini Mazuku lost consciousness. The carbon dioxide gas only came as high as waist level, so humans were perfectly safe. Poor dog. Sandstorm. A dust storm or sandstorm is a huge stream of dust or sand blown up by strong winds. They occur frequently not only in deserts but also in steppe areas. When encountered, dust storms can make it difficult to stand and breathe. Eyes and skin tingle, and the finest particles can enter the bloodstream through the lungs. Also, even after the wind stops blowing, the area is often covered with a cloud of dust, another unpleasant phenomenon. When the weather is like this, it is best to stay indoors and do something useful. For example, we recommend watching our channel, which has lots of interesting and informative videos. Please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any. Thank you for watching. We look forward to your comments. That's it then. Goodbye for a little while. See you again soon. Bye.